On this episode of Right on Budget, we're looking at how to make $1 out of 15 cents, or in this case, make those 15 pennies look like they're worth $1, even though they're totally not. Which brings us to today's car, my 2001 BMW 525i station wagon. While not always the cheapest to maintain, they're still not that bad, usually. And when it comes to the roll-up factor and bang for the buck, the 5 Series of the late 90s and early 2000s just may be the reigning king right now. Back in 2001, when this was new, it sold for about $37,000. In today's money, that's about $52,000. Currently, these cars can be picked up for less than $5,000, though, and in many cases, thousands of dollars less. And with a few bucks in add-ons, a little creativity, they can look like a whole lot more than just what you put into them. So let's check this one out and take it for a spin.
Looks can be deceiving. For example, this looks like I got 10 grand cash in my hand right now. Really, it's just movie money, costs about 20 bucks on the internet. Now, the same can be said for this car. It looks like it's worth a lot more than it actually is. But I don't mean to undersell it. It is a very nice car, and it's a great bang for the buck. Now, even from day one, this car has always had a love-hate relationship with me. Stupid little things will go wrong that just make me want to pull my hair out. But at the same time, it's really nice to drive. And over time, I've done things to it that have made it nicer, fit me more like a glove. And even when I look at what I put into it, it's still a pretty good bang for the buck, so I really can't complain. So I guess you could say that love conquers all, and in the end, love does win. But this car does have its frustrations. First off, it's a great car. It's a great design just out of the box. You could get one. They started making them in 97. They went through 03. They did a facelift in 01 where they got like HID headlights and little bells and whistles, but also, to be honest, the quality went down a little bit as far as just build quality goes. But any of those cars, you can buy them stock out of the box and they're going to be absolutely awesome. You're going to love them and not have to do anything with them. Even the stereo is pretty solid, especially for the time it was put in. And even factoring in all the little issues that popped up with the facelift, overall it has a really durable build quality throughout its entire time being made. I mean, this car right here has got like 170,000 miles on it, and paint still looks good. Panels are all really solid. Got a little dings and dents here, but those dings and dents came from some really hard hits. So it was really nice, durable, strong metal that they used with it. This is just a solid car. The interior build quality of this car is absolutely awesome as well. The door panels are really nice and thick. Leather is really thick, aged really well. Like I said, it's got 170,000 miles on it and still looks pretty new. The sedans I absolutely love. I think they're amazing looking cars. I had a 99 528 before I had this 01 525. Both great. However, there is something to be said about the wagon having its versatility, having its extra storage space in the back, and having just a more unique car that stands out on the road. This car also handles exceptionally well. It's really well weight balanced. It's, I think, almost perfect 50-50. I know the sedans are, and I think the wagons are pretty close too. When you get into corners, it really just dances around them, and it's surprising how big this car is for how well it handles. The transmission's got a nice feature. You can click it into sport mode. You can also shift up and down with it to pick what gear you want to be in. And it gives you a lot more options in those twisty roads too, or if you just want to zip around on the freeway. The rear seats fold down, which makes it really nice for hauling stuff around in a pinch. I'm big into bicycling, so it's nice. I can just pop them down, throw a bike in the back. Don't have to worry about having a bike rack or leaving it locked up outside. And just lock it in the car, walk away, and not worry about it. Another cool thing is a lot of parts are available for these cars at pick and pulls and junkyards. They made them for, I think, like 6 or 7 years, and also parts from the E39 7 series, which they made for about that time frame too, are interchangeable in a lot of this. You can swap the seats out, get a more luxurious ride feel. That's something on the to-do list, but honestly, I don't know if I'll ever do it. This is also just a true road trip car because it's got a great big gas tank. One of the biggest knocks on this Volvo I own is that it's got a really small gas tank. I feel like I'm living at the gas station. This one I think is like 18 or 20 gallons, and you can just fill it up, hop in the car and drive all the way from Sacramento to LA and still have some gas to get you around when you get there. It's nice just going places and not having to put your feet down until you actually get to the destination. An amazing feature this car has is the climate control. And I know you're thinking feature climate control, that's pretty standard, but BMW back in even the late 90s, early 2000s hit it right with this. This car gets so cold and so hot, it's nuts. Even the new Volvo I have, well, it's not really new. It's an '07 at this point. It's like 10, 11 years old. But that one's got like ventilated seats, and it's newer than this. It's got a nice high-tech climate control system. It does not get nearly as hot or as cold as this car does. This one will go from oven to icebox. It's amazing. And listen to this. Now, of course, not everything's great with this car. One issue is that it's really, really slow, especially for BMW standards. There's a reason I'm just driving around the city in this car, is because there's nothing to show you as far as performance goes. It is lackluster at best. Also, I mentioned the stereo. It isn't bad, but if you're an audiophile, it really isn't the best either. It was nice for 2001 when it came out, and I remember listening to it back when this car was only a few years old and just being blown away by it. But as time's gone on, I've realized that there are better, harder hitting systems that you can really utilize, especially in a car that's got the wagon back. Just got really good acoustics overall, so stereo could be better, but I guess it could be a lot worse too. Another issue with this car is that, it can be pricey to fix and stupid little stuff goes wrong with it. It's got like air shocks in the back, which I guess are nice because the car always kind of self-levels out, but those went bad and I had to replace those. Steering rack went bad. That was pricey and not fun, but that was also around like 150,000 miles, so it had a good run. There are a whole lot of things you can do with this car to make it more fun, and depending on your taste, you can go from sporty to bling bling. As I mentioned, this car is anything but fast, so I've kind of gone for the latter and blinged it out, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I blame rap music. My favorite addition in this car has to be the 20-inch wheels I put on them. I got them from Tire Rack, and they make the car look a whole lot nicer, at least as far as I'm concerned. They didn't speed it up at all, but they're not too heavy, not much heavier than stock, so they didn't slow it down too much, and the car actually does handle a little bit better with them. And I'm actually really, really surprisingly happy with the BF Goodrich tires. The head unit's a really nice thing. You can swap out on this too. It's got enough space to throw in a double din, so you can throw in like a DVD player or something that'll read USBs, watch some movies while you're parked, of course. And you can even throw some TVs in the back like I have, and you can pick those up for like 20 bucks a pop on the internet. It's crazy how cheap this is all getting. I got a GPS hardwired in. That was a nice little touch too. I've got the wiring all hidden away by this cup holder that I picked up on Amazon for like 15 bucks. And this is a nice little addition too. I would definitely recommend investing in one of these if you pick up one of these cars for yourself. Well worth it. You can bust out the Dremel or a drill and just customize it for all the little switches and microphones and wire hiding you need. Definitely worth it. If you go the route of swapping out the stereo and going for the double din, it's real easy to throw a backup camera in there too. Wiring, it's the most frustrating thing, but you can always get one of the wireless ones, and that'll run you like between 20 to 50 bucks depending on how glitzy and fancy and wireless or wired you want it. Another cool cheap thing online you can pick up for this that really modernizes the car, these LED lights for the halos up front. They came with just halogen bulbs, but you pop LEDs in, gives them a cooler white look, and looks a lot more like the modern BMWs they're putting out today. That's basically what I'm getting at. So, all in all, I gotta say, if you're looking for a car that's a good luxury car, isn't too new, but isn't too old at the same time, has aged gracefully, this is really a good bang for your buck. It's definitely worth keeping in mind. It looks nice when you roll up in it. It still looks fairly new and modern, and it does not cost that much to get into one, even a really nice one. Maintenance is not going to be anything like a Honda Accord or, a Toyota Camry, but at the same time, the driving experience is going to be a lot better.